What's up, YouTube? And as you guys can see, they didn't kick me out the unit, man. As you guys know, if you've been a part of the journey, been a part of the channel so far. If not, I'll catch you up to speed. Started this brand about like going going on almost a year now, about like 9, 10 months ago now. And I've just been building it. It's been after I closed my last business, which is a whole nother story. And starting this whole new business from scratch and just slowly building and seeing the growth on it has been like just fun. But as you guys know, I built like this storage unit space as a warehouse for the brand. And recently I had got another unit. So I was paying for this unit and that unit. In total it was coming to a little over $200. Um, I got a notice and it was, I guess it had said, because I didn't get the notice. And I see a lot of people online saying they don't get these notices either. But I guess I got a notice that said I had a rent increase. So I got a bill saying, and I noticed on like my banking statement, it was for like $230. And I just thought like, okay, they didn't combine this rent and the other rent. Okay. And then a couple days later, I got another bill and it was for my other unit that I use as like a photo booth. And I was like, okay, I'm not about to be paying. It was coming to almost like $350. And I was like, okay, I'm not about to be paying that much for storage units when I've downgraded my apartment to a studio apartment to save money. I'm not about to be paying pretty much the cost of me actually having like a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom apartment. Plus, my old apartment's rent had went down almost $400 a month. So at this point, I'm thinking, should I just like get a bigger apartment and close both these storage units? Say I just got off of work and I was like, okay, I could just come straight to the storage unit. Then I'm like, no, I can't, because then I'll have to leave my dog at the house for hours. And by the time I get back there, it's nighttime. And as you guys know, I lived in the middle of the like mountain. So it was like bobcats, mountain lions, rattlesnakes, scorpions. I got bit by a scorpion. Terrible, terrible pain. It had bit me in both of my hands. So it was in like my washcloth. It had bit me in both of my hands. And then my hands started burning. The sensation that you feel, if you ever like hit yourself with a hammer and you have like that throbbing feeling, that's what it felt throughout my entire like arm, from where it bit me at on my finger all the way up to like my shoulder. And it didn't feel like that for like an hour. It felt like that for pretty much the whole entire night. Like I stayed up till about 4 o'clock in the morning with like that burning, throbbing pain sensation. And then the next day, my arms were numb and they stayed numb for like 2 days straight. So I already got bit by a scorpion. I'm seeing coyotes, bobcats, javelinas, which are wild hogs or pigs, um, scorpions. I seen 2 rattlesnakes and had rattlesnake encounters. My dog scared of snakes. Like he'll see like a water hose. Like he's over it now. But when it first happened, one of them hissed at him. And I was like, dang, that's a rattlesnake. And then he was just like jumping at water hoses. And I'm getting nervous and I'm jumping at them too. And then not too long ago, this is like a week ago, it was like a tarantula on my door. And it was beautiful. And all the animals that I've seen and encountered, they've been beautiful if it was at a zoo. The tarantula, it was like this brown furry tarantula. And like I said, it was a pretty tarantula, but on my door, it was like, nah. I was talking to my landlord, being like transparent and just letting them know, like, hey, they raised the rent at my storage units. My old apartment, the rent has went down $400. Pretty much letting him know in a way like, hey, I'm thinking about leaving and going back to my old apartment. And he just came back to me a few days later and he was like, hey, I got this other space. It will be a little bit more, but I'll give you a really good deal. You're a good tenant. Um, and yeah, now I have a multiple bedroom apartment and I'm able to move my brand back into my apartment. And I know a lot of people think like moving into a storage unit is a pro, but I'm personally pro keeping it inside of your house, inside of your garage, inside of anywhere that's close to you for as long as possible, because it is so convenient. So I'm moving my operation back into my house. And as you guys can see, this place is already pretty much cleaned out. I just got a few things. I want to sell the couch on Facebook as well as these racks and give me some new racks. You just got to think of situations in a positive light and understand like it's all a part of the process, and this was all a part of the journey. And I'm happy this was a part of the journey, but I'm also happy that it's coming to an end in a way where I'm able to again start focusing more on on I don't know, inside the brand again, because as like a business owner, as a brand owner, you don't want to ever get to the point where majority of your work as a creative, especially in the business or owner in the business, is spent where you're doing work that is like it's essential to the business, but it doesn't provide any progress. So shipping orders, it only to a certain extent does it provide progress to your business. It allows your customers to get their orders on time, but to a certain extent, that could be done by anybody. Like, you could take all your stuff up to the post office and let them pack it up. It's gonna cost you a lot more, but that just shows you like that's a part that is not, you know, anything you can teach anybody else. And you don't want to be focusing too much on that kind of stuff. You want to, as an owner, as a creative, you want to focus on stuff that only you could do. So I just feel like with this storage unit, it was nice in the beginning, just as far as creating content, creating a separate space. Like it was really fun in the beginning, but it started to become like, I don't know, another place, another location. Like it was like, okay, I'm doing my daytime job and now I gotta go to my night shift. Like that's how it really became because I was starting to get to the point where majority of my orders were spending, like that was most of my time spent. So now I'm moving in a phase of profitability where the business is paying for new samples, it's paying for new bulks, and I'm still able to retain money in the savings account. And it's just now getting to that point. And I'm realizing like I understand, like I feel like the turnover in clothing brand is so high with a lot of different brands because this business, it's expensive, but not expensive in the ways that people would think. Like the product, yeah, that's expensive, but marketing, uh, testing out, sampling, all that starts to add up throughout time. So for me, like to reach a point where it's like, okay, now I got money in my savings account. I'm thinking about starting up, not thinking about, I am going to start up. I've already pretty much opened it. It's like a brokerage account or a stock account for my business, my LLC, all in that name. I don't know why I'm running out of breath because I ain't really, well, I've been talking before this. I did a little TikTok video. Now, all I got to do, we could go ahead and go grab that real fast. I'm going to go grab a cart. So I'm going to leave this right here. I'll be right back. All right. So I know it's probably loud, and it's also like a test of this mic to see how far it can go. But I'm grabbing this cart because I just want to load all the stuff on this cart, take it to the car. I probably won't move everything out of here. Well, I'm gonna try and move majority of it, take some of it to the Goodwill probably. That's where I take majority of my stuff that I no longer feel like I need or want. And then the rest of it, I'm taking it back to the house. So yeah. But yeah, overall, I feel like this whole entire experience has been like a really nice experience. And this is a pretty decent size storage unit too. If you didn't know, it's a 10 by 15. So I don't know. I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm 5'11", just to give reference to height a little bit. I don't know if that makes a difference, but 10 by 15, so 10 across, 15 feet long. So pretty decent size unit. I don't know how good that angle was, but no, I did want to get on here and kind of discuss that. So my thing also is if you do go with a storage unit, I would highly recommend now after this experience, unless you are okay with your rates kind of like jumping up, maybe go with like a private storage location where you can kind of lock in the rates a little bit better. Because after doing research, it turns out like places like Extra Space Storage, Public Storage, U-Haul, and I don't want to say exactly which one I'm at because I might potentially want to come back, who knows. But it's one of those three. And these places are kind of infamous for raising rent prices on people. So that's just something to be aware of. So I personally rather just lock in at an apartment and use a bedroom. Now, if you stay in an area where apartments are super expensive, having an extra bedroom costs more than you getting a storage unit, then I would still say go ahead and get the storage unit. But at the same time, again, be cautious and see if you can go with a private place. Now, the reason I like this place though is you see how I'm not sweating is because it's climate controlled, so it's got AC inside. And what I've noticed about a lot of like locally owned storage units, majority of those are like outside, I feel like in the heat. So if you're anything like me where it's like that's definitely a no for a number of reasons, like I don't want my clothes to get damaged from excessive heat, excessive moisture, whatever the case may be. Like you might say, hey, I gotta go with one of these bigger retailers, but just be aware, like I said, just be aware that they could raise the rent up on you and then you could just be out, or you could just pay. Because I could have just paid, but like I said, with all my situations going on as far as like having to travel here back and forth, having a pet, um, paying extra in gas, I just feel like it's not worth it. And plus, I already stay on the West Coast. Like, I'm happy on staying like California because I was down there not that long ago, like going to the dog beach and just taking like a quick break because I stay pretty close to like California. But gas down there was like $6 a gallon. So I felt happy getting back to my like $3, $4. So but still $3, $4 to some people, that could still be pretty high. So for me, I was like, I'm just adding up all the expenses, all the numbers, and thinking like, how much am I losing really when you add all this up? So yeah. But yeah, I pretty much got this cart filled. I think I need one more cart and then the rest of this stuff dumped in this trash can. And then the rest, like I said, I just think I need one more cart. And yeah, that's pretty much this video. When I start the stock account for the brand and stuff, I'll show like the investments, how I'm doing that. Cause I think a lot of like businesses, that's a part where I feel like is hidden to only like these big companies, and why they're saving and making so much money. Like it opened my eyes after I started really like learning about like balance sheets and like at this point I don't day trade, I don't do any of that, but I do a lot of long-term investing, especially with 401k. I got an HSA, personal investment account. So I just been really learning about companies on a long-term scale. And a lot of these companies have investment accounts that are making them a lot of money. So I just feel like that's something missing from small business spaces and small business conversations. And if I could provide any information, I'll do it. But thanks for watching. If you got through this whole entire video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Check out the channel for other videos just like this. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.